Who did we gain our independence from?
Korea.
Misinformation, a new issue plaguing the globe. Misinformation is a brand new problem globally, arising right alongside the internet and all the other epic things humanity has invented over the past 30-ish years. The arrival of the internet made it disgustingly simple and easy to spread tomfoolery online. All it takes these days to fool the masses is a hint of creativity and the ability to write. Misinformation is very avoidable. All it takes is a slight bit of effort, and I'll provide a few examples of how. To do so, I have planned some simple procedures to ensure that you aren't so easily fooled by the horde of TikToks where a 20-year-old man holding a boba tea tells blatant lies for views or something. Research was invented by Thomas Research in the year 1402 when he... I'm lying. Or misinforming, rather. To put it simply, the simplest way to ensure that you aren't being lied to is to fact-check information you hear from others or see online. That includes this video. Looking at multiple sources ensures that you either know what's actually true or that you're bad at finding sources. Personally, I recommend Ground News, a website that lets you see the sources used in news articles and if they're politically biased or not. But enough about that, it's time to talk about 5 things you've likely believed or still believe that are complete misinformation. This is totally false. Blood gets its color from hemoglobin, the iron-containing protein that carries oxygen. Blood becomes darker when it's oxygen-poor and lighter when oxygen-rich. This idea likely arose from some glue-eating child looking at his arm and seeing his blue veins and thinking to himself, that's odd, I thought that blood was red. Must be blue when it's still inside you. This myth was then perpetuated and some people latched onto it because they wanted to believe their blood was blue for some reason. This is a common way for misinformation to arise, where if something makes sense to someone, they act like it's a fact. While it is true that a worm can survive being cut in half, its back end does not become a new worm. Instead, simply being severed from the main body causes the severed part to die. Earthworms have a head end that consists of the brain and vital organs, and a tail end. If you were to cut a worm in half, only the front half could survive. The tail half just dies. This myth came when scientists noticed that if you cut a planarian, a flatworm found in pods, it can regrow its missing parts, even forming 2 full worms. This fascinating ability got passed around as worms can regrow without people realizing earthworms are a completely different kind of animal. Archaeological evidence, actual Viking helmets that have been found, shows that they were simple, rounded, and made of iron or leather. Having giant horned helmets would not only be expensive as hell and impractical for a bunch of Vikings to mass produce, but also useless in battle, being heavy and easy to grab or use as a weakness. The popular mental image of a Viking wearing a horned helmet comes from romanticized depictions of Vikings, intended to make them look more intimidating and fierce. Brain scans like fMRI and PET scans show that almost every part of the brain is active at different times, even when you're resting or sleeping. Different regions handle different tasks: vision, movement, emotions, memory, planning, etc. The idea that we only use 10% likely came from a misquote or misunderstanding of early neuroscience research in the early 1800s and 1900s. The Great Wall is actually hard to see from space because it's narrow, made of earth-colored materials, and blends into the landscape. Not only is the Great Wall almost impossible to see from space, it's definitely not the only man-made object that can be seen from space. Things like cities and farmland patterns are much easier to see from space, especially cities at night.